Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered, where no topic is off limits and everything gets real. Join us,
Ranisha,
Teresa,
Suzanne, as we dive into hot topics, share our wildest experiences, and bear our honest opinions and thoughts. Buckle up, because with us it's always raw, always vibrant, and absolutely unfiltered.
hello everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hi ladies.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about navigating the world of online dating. And dating has changed so much since I online dated many years ago. And we're just going to dive to our own experiences of online dating, the good and the ugly, of course.
The bad and the ugly.
The bad and the ugly. And just give you some tips on dating in 2024.
And how to stay safe. Because
That's the important part.
I was watching Dateline last night and there's still
I don't
bad
watch
out there.
Dateline anymore.
I love Dateline.
I love Dateline.
I don't watch it anymore. It's just too sad for me.
It is.
You have to be in. Look, and it can trigger you. Like, I was watching it or listening to a podcast in the car about a crime. It may have been Dateline. And it triggered my mom. Wow. When we came out of the car, she said, I don't want to listen to that stuff anymore. And it triggered her about some past trauma. So I have to be sensitive about it when I'm listening to it around others. But anyhow, back to our episode.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay. So way back in the day, in the late 90s, was the first time that I tried online dating. And I met a gentleman. I'm going to talk about something positive first. I met a gentleman and he had been my friend. It didn't work. Okay. I met a gentleman. It was all good. We dated for a while. And then I don't even remember why we broke up. Well, then a few years later, we reconnected and we tried again. I'm sorry. We tried again, and then we just became friends. Let's put it like that. And he was my buddy, and every, so often, we'd be on the phone talking about some of everything. He was really, really, really my buddy. And then later on, yes, I'm gonna say it one more time. We tried again.
I know who you're talking about now.
Okay, we tried again.
I don't.
and it just didn't work out. And one of the things that I would say is, I say a regret, is that we should have just remained friends because we were really good friends, because it was just good to have a guy friend just to talk to, and have conversations with. We had good conversations. So over all of these years, it spanned a good 20 years.
Wow.
I definitely know who you're
That's
talking about.
27 years.
The third time getting back together, you think ruined the friendship altogether?
Yes, okay, because we probably never should have went there and tried to be romantic again. Because it didn't work, I don't want to say it didn't work, but it didn't work out the first two times, but we were really good friends, and I miss our talks. I really do. I miss our talks.
So how did you meet him? Like, what format did you use? Online? You went to
Okay, so if I can remember, please forgive me, because this was like 97, I think it was. Yeah, it was 97. It really wasn't, online like the platforms that we have today. I think what it was through an ad.
like a newspaper?
No, really, seriously, if I can remember.
A newspaper ad?
Be quiet.
I was just like, remember when personals were way back then? It was a newspaper ad, and you would say female, single.
It was
It was something like that,
Really?
Because I've always been an adventurous person, and I would try things. So I tried it, and that's how I met this person. And like I said, good guy. You
It's
know,
just-
I really had I would say two positive experiences, okay, with the online dating. It's just unfortunate that neither one of them resulted in marriage
And more.
and
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
You know, right now I'm not really, because I am single. I'm single of the
Dudes.
bunch.
Guys,
Yeah.
men, single, and she's a catch. So don't let it go.
You know
Need
what?
to
I'm
hit her up.
gonna tell y'all this, okay? 'Cause I'm
Subscribe
sharing.
and
Okay, so I'm gonna go away from the camera. I'm gonna go away from the camera, and I'm gonna look at them. I'm gonna look at them, ladies. Okay. It's not that I'm open. I'm open to
Okay.
dating. You know, even
That's
at this
good.
stage or whatever. You know, because I know my worth. You know, I'm not a liability. I'm an asset. You know, whatever. And I know my worth. And yeah. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm
so
not a liability. I'm an asset.
yeah. So and I'm looking at y'all again. So I'm not out here just like seeking. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You know, I'm not out here.
Yeah,
So,
makes
ladies,
sense.
so
You're open.
yeah, I'm open, okay,
No,
but I'm
I
not
get
on the online dating, you know, sites anymore. You know, but I am open. So, yeah, I'm gonna stop right here because I'm gonna stop right here until we get to the crazy stories, because I have a couple of them. Because of course I've dated a few people in these last 20-something years, and I got a couple of stories.
So you saying that you're open, that kind of brings me to my online experience. I never had any crazy experiences, so I'll let you all cover that. But I do have some online experience, and that's how I met my husband right now. I was at a place where I had been out of a long-term relationship, and I just didn't want to date anymore. My son was a teenager, and I did not want to put him through that again, like the breakup or getting a boyfriend and whatever. I just wasn't going to do it. So I stayed single for about 10 years until he graduated high school. Then when he graduated high school, I kind of opened myself back up to, like Teresa, to being open. I wasn't actively looking, just open and see what could happen. Well, at that time, I was probably I was 40 maybe. Yeah, I think I was 40. And I decided I think we did it together. Let's just do some online dating and see what happens. Actually, we did. And I remember taking pictures of each other. Remember? We're taking pictures of each other.
Wow.
And we did our online profile. And I got some good guys, never met anyone, just chatted, and we chatted on the phone or chatted on the specific app, or we talked on the phone. I didn't want to pay any apps, so I would do the little bit of the free, and then remember Christian Mingle back then was like a big one. We were doing Christian Mingle and some other ones, but anyhow, I met some good guys that some of them were just really kind of wanting to hook up, and I was not the girl for that. So moved on for that. And other ones were, I guess if I had a weird story, it would be about one guy that couldn't talk to him. He was either in Paris or he was in London, and just one of those guys that oh my gosh, gorgeous. But I could never talk to him on the phone. So I started doing some investigating, and I saw his photo in about 2 or 3 sites with different names. So I thought, okay, it's not, he wasn't who he said he was. It wasn't his picture, and maybe a stock image from somewhere, and he was falsifying his identity. So anyhow, I got out. I said, I'm like, online dating, this is too much. These people just want to mess around. Nobody's serious. I wasn't looking to get married, but I was looking to be in a serious relationship that led to marriage. I'm 40. I'm not looking to be dating for 5 years. I did that. It didn't work out. So I was clear, not saying like, hey, first day we're gonna get married, right? When are you gonna propose? But it was clear that this is where I'm intending to eventually go. So one of the guys that I met, or I didn't meet him we met online and talked on the phone, told me about this. I said, I'm getting out, I'm not doing this anymore. And he said, there's a really good book out there that I want you to read. It's called How to Get a Date Worth Keeping by Henry Cloud. How to Get a Date Worth Keeping. So I didn't buy the book. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll read the book. And I went to, I don't know, one of the bookstores, and the book was right there staring at me. And I said, well, there's a book that guy said to buy. So I bought it, I read it, and the book really opened my eyes because it talked about individuals in my age group, how hard it is for you to find someone how to meet people. We're either at work, we're in and out of work. Most people are married at work, right? Or they're younger than me, if they're single guys. I don't have the network that college students have. I don't have the network that younger people that do things in trouble. I'm a single mom staying at home. All I did was I went to work, I went home, I went to church, I went home, I went to the grocery store, I went home, went to my son's events, I went home. Like, that was my life. So he tells you, be open to others. If you go to the grocery store, smile. Try to have a conversation with no expectations. Like, you're not expecting to go anywhere with this person. So I really changed my point of view, and I started going to the grocery store and kind of like smiling at people and try to be more, because you're so rushed. You go in and out. You get I gotta go home. I gotta make dinner. I don't have time for this. So I try to be more open. And then he says, when you go and do online dating, have the same mindset. You're not expecting anything. I'm looking for a friend. We're just going out and having dinner or coffee or whatever. No expectation. Oh my gosh, it took all the pressure off of me. So I did it, and I went back to online dating, no expectations, no anything. And along came John, and he's actually the first one that I met in person and the one that I ended up marrying. And here we are going 16 years.
Great online dating success story.
Yeah, that was a success story. But that was my experience with online dating.
So you would say it would be a good experience.
It's a good experience. Yeah, it's good.
I have found that there are really some good guys out there.
There's
just like we
guys.
know that there's good women out there. There's some good guys out there. You know, you just have to I would say, just be confident in who you are, you know, and know what your deal breakers are, you know.
Absolutely.
And then if you want to just date, then just date. If you want to date to get married, okay, that's fine.
That's
too,
your goal.
You know, that's your goal, right? And I just think that honesty is the best policy.
I think so too.
And it
That's
really is
what
key,
we
and
miss, yeah.
just the communication, and that's just some of the things that I have learned, you know, with my couple of experiences, long-term, experiences with online dating. Okay.
How are you, Vernisha?
Yeah, I online dated a lot.
Like, did you meet face-to-face with a lot? Or
I
just
did.
Kind of chat? Oh, you did? Okay.
I met face-to-face with a lot. So I started online dating after my divorce in 2010, 2009, something like that. And I was on all the popular ones, Plenty of Fish. That was a free one, which I think is still out there now. Black People Meet. That was a popular one where I met a guy that I actually dated for about 2 years from that site. And I feel like I've had pretty positive experiences. We would go out on dates. I would find I didn't like this person or it didn't work, and we would move on. But there was one time I went out on a date with a person, and I dated this person for quite a bit, and I found out he was a felon. So
background checks, everyone.
But it got me in front of folks when I was kind of home raising kids, and I wasn't really ready to share people with my children. It was just something I was doing personally to get out, meet people, possibly even get married again. I'm a long time dater type person. I like to be in relationships, and that's what I did. I have some funny stories.
Tell us one. We want to laugh.
Well, I told you guys this before. The one story I have is a guy I met off Plenty of Fish, and he asked me out for lunch, and I'm like, that's good. That's a non-committal date. I went out with him. We went to our local restaurant, and I ordered my food. He said he was not hungry. I thought that was odd considering he asked me out to lunch. So I'm like, okay, he's not hungry. Okay, I'll eat. I'm hungry. And I ordered my food. I got it to the register. My food came out to like $4 and some change. Actually, it was $5 and some change.
Didn't you say I had a coupon?
But I had a $1 coupon. And they asked me if I wanted to use my $1 coupon. And I said, yes. So then it was like $4 and some change. He confidently passed over his credit card, debit card, or whatever card he was using. And they swiped and it declined. I looked at him. He looked at me. He was like, oh, it can't. I don't know what happened. Yeah. And she tried it again and it declined again. So I ended up paying for my lunch. We sat down, I ate my lunch so fast. Like I had soup and bread and a salad, and I swallowed that soup down so I could get away from this man who had less than $5 in his banking account.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to date somebody.
Oh, another one I talked to for a very long time. He was so sweet. His name was Michael. I was like, oh, he's so sweet. What caught me off guard is when he said he would take me out when his check came in the mail. And I'm like, this is like, we're in the 2000s.
Poor guy, he's living paycheck to paycheck.
I mean, he's waiting for snail mail to get paid. I was confused about that.
Aww.
So I was like, okay, no judgment. He's working. He's a hard worker.
At least he has a check coming in the mail.
Yes, and I thought he was sweet. We talked for many weeks, many months before we actually met. We met in a mutual area. He was living in Greensboro. I was living in Raleigh. So we met in the middle. So how we met? I got in a hotel because I'm like, I'm going to spend the night since I don't want to drive late home. It was the weekend. My kids were with their dad. So I gave him the hotel information, which I'm thinking now wasn't really smart to do. I gave him my hotel info in my room, and because I felt comfortable with him. We've been talking for so long. He knocked on the door. I looked out the peephole, and I didn't recognize who he was. And I just cracked open the door, and you guys, I don't know, Teresa, do you remember the crackhead from from the movie Menace to Society, the crackhead with the cheeseburgers and the paper bag? Okay, so we'll have a shot of that in this podcast so you can see that on you guys on YouTube. But he literally looked like a crackhead. None of the pictures he sent me
were real.
They were him, but they were him 20 years ago.
Oh no.
He looked like he smoked. His teeth were very yellow. He had a little backpack with like pins, safety pins in it. And I asked him to go downstairs and sit in the lobby, and I'll be right there. I proceeded to get my bearings. I called him on the phone. I said, I cannot go out with you. I can't go to dinner with you. He was like, why? Why can't you go to dinner with me? I'm like, because you don't look like what I thought you would look like. I just told him the truth.
Yeah, good for you.
And he was like, really? We just can't go eat? I'm like, no, we can't go eat. You're not who I thought you were, but have a good life.
Wow.
And I drove home that night, and he kept calling, and I never answered the phone.
Oh, poor thing. You had a place to stay that night and a hot meal, and you dissed it. Because the
not
normal is
fun.
like, don't lie, because number one, it's scary. It's scary as a female.
This man went from having long dreads, nice looking man, to being bald headed and just frail. Like I could
Yeah,
probably
that's
pick him up.
scary.
He looked like he
Yeah.
had a hard life.
That's scary.
And I just politely declined our dinner. And then the last one about the felon, he was just living a double life. He had a girlfriend.
Oh gosh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so
You can't do that. You can't lie. You can't present yourself as somebody else because it's scary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when you show up and it's like, oh, that's not the person that I was supposed to be
And
meeting.
people do it all the time, you know. But let me just tell you this funny story, and it's funny. I'm a preface the story with I've never felt endangered or anything like that.
same.
Well, anyway, so I was met this guy online, nice guy, cute as he wanted to be, and so we talked for a while on the phone, and then we went to first meeting was lunch. First meeting was lunch. This person lived about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, no, about 2 hours away from me. So he drove to where I live, to my area. We went to lunch, had a good lunch, It was close to Christmas time, and he bought me Christmas presents.
Oh, nice.
Bless his heart. And so it was good, that first meeting. And then he drove back. So we talked some more on the phone. So everything is going good. You comfortable, whatever, right? So the second date was he again came to where I lived. And then, now listen to this, y'all. The first date, I was in my own car. And I met him at the restaurant.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's tip number one. Okay?
Yep.
And so the second date, since we had been talking for so long or whatever, and of course when somebody lives that far away, you talk more on the phone. So we had good conversations, got to know each other and everything. So the second date was he came to, again, like I said, he came to where I was, and I drove my car. Y'all don't know I don't believe in weapons or anything like that. I never even let my son have toy guns and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I just say I had some spray. Okay. You never know, people crazy. But I did not feel anything.
Okay,
I absolutely 100% felt safe. I did.
Okay,
I just want y'all to know that, right? But that's
same
not the point.
with all the guys.
I felt safe. I felt safe. But I drove.
I was going to say knife.
Yeah. So no. So
I guns, but I had a knife.
But I tried to, you gotta have a little bit of something. And I travel, and I do a lot of solo traveling over the years. You gotta
spray
have
before.
Absolutely.
let me
be
packed,
safe.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, so the second date, like I said, he came to where I was, and so I drove. Okay, and so we went to the waterfront, and walked around, got something to eat, all good. So we came back to my house. So when we came back to my house, sit around, because the date was in the afternoon, okay, because we were down by the water, and it was wonderful. So came back to my house, and so it's still early, right? Well, next thing we, hanging out, looking at TV, listening to music, nothing, just normal, okay? Well, then he went out to his car to get something because he wanted to get something that had to do with my TV. My TV is over the fireplace. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So when he came back in, that's fine. And I think I went to the kitchen or something like that while he went to his car. So then it was getting late. So let's say it was like about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's the summertime. So of course it's still
daylight.
Mm-hmm. And so I forgot what he said to me, but I'm paraphrasing. He was like he was staying at my house.
Oh, he was just going to stay at your house?
He was going to stay at my house.
Okay. He go to the car to get his overnight bag.
Okay, but let me tell you what happened.
Oh, wow.
So what happened was, and I looked at him because let's say, we're on the couch, right? So I'm here, he's here, all right? And I'm looking at him, it's like, you gonna stay, like, where you staying, you
Mhm.
know? And so he said, well, my bag is over there. And what he did was he had an overnight bag, y'all. It wasn't,
goodness.
and he had to see where my house is. It was not by the front door. It was in the hall, right?
Uh-huh.
And of course I couldn't see it because I'm sitting here, so I couldn't see the bag. And then I looked and I said,
It
I'm
wasn't
going,
a suitcase.
What
and
did you
no,
do?
it wasn't a suitcase. It was like an overnight bag.
What'd
Right?
you do?
Okay. So you have to be respectful.
And
You
then
have to
your
be
house is
polite.
kind of scary.
But I'm telling you, I was never scared. I just never scared. See, that's the covering of the Lord. But anyway, I was never
Absolutely.
scared. I was never scared. Suzanne, I promise you, I never was scared. So, but I told him, no, first of all, I felt like this, it's okay to have, company. We didn't talk about it, or whatever, because I would have saved you some time and I would have said,
You
no,
can't
not
stay.
yet, we're not at that place. So that was an assumption on his part. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's a turn off for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think that's
You
totally
didn't talk about it.
disrespectful. I think that's
That's
totally
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
But I was cool. I was so cool. So, and I'm like, I was so cool, calm, and collected. And eventually, no, you're not staying here. And I didn't say it like that or anything like that. But it's like, we're not there
It's not
yet.
like
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I was
yeah,
with
you know.
Michael.
It's not a
I
good
don't
idea.
think we should go out. You're not.
There you go.
cool.
You
I
very
thought
yeah.
you were.
Because
That's what I said.
you never know. You never know. But like I said, I never felt any. I never felt in danger or threatened. Nothing like that. I just didn't. And so, did he give me a pushback? Not a pushback to whereas I felt anything. Just like like somebody.
Why
Are you sure? Whatever.
I got you.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine because I remember when I had my second long-term relationship that I told you guys about. I told you about the first one. The second one I had, it was no problem because the way my house is situated, you got bedrooms on this side, and then you got my bedroom was over here. So it would just like a company. Renisha, if you come to my house, you be over on that side of the house, and I'll be over here. So, but we didn't talk about that. You know what I mean? So it was, to me, it was a red flag. And I talked to him maybe one more time after that. Maybe two. It wasn't 3, 4, 5.
I think you fizzled out.
But we did because
of
that. Yeah, because it was. I don't know.
I think that the takeaway from this, like tip number 2 might be lay out your expectations.
Yeah.
Lay out your expectations and understand the expectations of the other person, because you may not be on the same page. Like he thought he was spending the night and who knows what else.
And he went to a hotel.
I don't think he was going to the guest bedroom in his mind. Probably,
He was going to the queen's room.
Yeah, he was going. So it's like it's important to set your expectations
Absolutely.
before, because then that way nobody's crushed, nobody is
Hurt,
disappointed, or scared.
And
scared.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like with the second long-term relationship, right? It was. We already knew what was happening because this person was coming from like 2.5 hours away, So same thing happened. A lot of conversation, whatever. First meeting, comfortable, whatever the case may be.
Oh wait,
but
that was the first time you met him in person?
which one?
the second.
No, the guy that brought the overnight bag. That was
That
the
was
first time.
that was the second time.
Okay.
See, the first time
You went to
we went to
lunch.
lunch.
Right.
I
Okay,
met
okay.
him.
So I was like, wait, what? Did I miss something? Okay,
No,
I
I had my
It was
own
the second
car.
date, and
It
you
was
went back and you're. That's right. You just said that.
Yeah, and So on my second long-term online dating experience, which was the longest one because it was like 8.5 years, something like that.
Oh yeah.
It was a long time, yeah. But anyway, when I met that person, okay, we had talked about it, okay. Well, come to my house. We already knew he was going to be in the other bedroom. As a matter of fact, in the other bedroom for many times, okay, before. I'm just being honest with you, okay, because that's just where I was in my life. So totally respectful. But just like Suzanne said, it was the communication. We had the conversation.
You have to have
we
the
knew the
conversation.
expectations, and that went well.
But do these because we're unfiltered. So
Right.
kids, youth, young people now do that, or is it expected to kind of? I don't know.
I don't know, but my son met his wife on Instagram. They DM'd each other. Well, she DM'd him. They liked each other. They went on a date, and then less than a year later, they got married.
You know what the bottom line is that, I mean, that's the norm. Okay, when I would say that back in the 90s when I first did it, that it wasn't like the norm. You know what I mean? That makes sense. It was different. Okay, you know, but this is the norm.
Oh yeah, like even my son has online dated John, which it was knowing him now. It's kind of weird to me that he would have online dated. He's such an introvert.
Well, that's how they shine online, because they're typing behind.
Yeah,
that's why you now have so many catfish and people pretending to be somebody else.
They're not. And this brings me to tip number 3, which is something that I did when I went out with John, because it's the first one that I went with and the last one in person. It's not because I was picky at all. Actually, no, I'm kidding. I was super picky.
And it's okay.
And that's okay. I mean, I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with this person.
Or you can be picky.
So I told my cousin that I had so my cousin had access to all of my online dating platforms. She had the password. She had access to my email. Because if something happened to me, I needed her to be able to access my stuff. Okay, so that was one thing that I did that I could be used as a tip. I trust her. It wasn't violating to me. I didn't really have anything to hide. So I felt that was important. Then the 4th tip would be, I told her where I was. And I even had her call me. And hey, this can help you if the date's going nowhere. I had her call me. I said, we're dating. We're meeting at 6. Call me at 7, and I'll use it as I gotta go, or I'm good. Thanks for calling. And she called me, and I didn't pick up the phone because I was having so much fun with John. And she called me again, and I told him, I said, excuse me, I need to use the restroom. So I went to the restroom, and I said, I'm good. Everything's fine. Oh, okay, you scared me. You didn't pick up. I'm good.
Yeah.
So anyhow, tell someone where you're at.
Absolutely.
Give someone that you trust access to your things. And that may not be as important as telling someone where you're at.
Yeah.
I feel that kids now, we trust everyone too much. We're getting cars. Drive yourself the first time. You don't, look, we've all experienced people that were not real. Well, you didn't, but maybe in the ones that you were never met in person.
Maybe, yeah.
But there's people out there that pretend to be somebody they're not, and that's scary. That was scary to me.
I think another tip: patience.
Yes,
is important. You can weed people out just by putting time in between you. So people who are really excited, oh, let me meet you. I want to meet you this week. No, let's keep talking on the phone.
For a minute.
Send me a picture and trust in your spirit, red flags.
Yes,
things that don't sit well with you.
Pictures, or I did have that. Send me a picture of what you're doing now.
Or FaceTime. You should be able to FaceTime.
We didn't have FaceTime back then.
We didn't have FaceTime.
FaceTime is great.
But now FaceTime the person that you are going out with.
Before me, that's great. Yeah. That's a great tip, actually. Yeah. That's a good one.
But you reminded me, I went on a date with a guy I met on Facebook. I flew to Paris to go on our date. But the thing about him, I looked on Facebook. We had mutual friends.
Yes.
So I sent notes to the mutual friends, and they were like, "Oh, he's a great guy.
Good.
He's this, he's that, he's great." So he was going to Paris, and he was like, "Why don't you meet me in Paris and let's go out on a date?" I was like, "Why not?" So I flew to Paris, and we went on a date
because you were open, that you were open. If anybody, anybody asked me, about just my life right now, especially being retired. I worked so hard, you guys, when I was working, and I worked at my last job for 24 years, and I worked so hard. it was time for me to retire. I wasn't thinking about retirement, but that's a whole nother podcast. We're gonna talk about that later. But anyway, the one thing that I am, and this is my favorite word, is that I'm open and I'm flexible.
That's
okay,
good.
I'm open and I'm flexible, and I'm gonna share this with you guys because I shared it with my cousin. I have a cousin who's like my best friend. Okay, so just like
we all have her.
I have my cousin. She's like we talk a lot. I told her, I said, the relationships that I get into from at this time in my life, it's gonna have to be from God. Okay,
absolutely,
because it's gonna have to be. Not that the last one wasn't. Okay, because he loved the Lord, but it's just gonna have to be from the. That's the best thing I got for you.
That makes sense.
It's just gonna have to be from God, because my thing is that because if it's from God, okay, everything's gonna fall into place and it's gonna be okay.
Even
absolutely.
if it doesn't. Yeah.
When
I was marrying John, I was going down the aisle praying, saying, Lord, if this is not for you, you let me know right now and I will stop. I'll tell everyone, let's go party. We'll go to the reception. Let's party it up. But I will not marry him. Like, I was waiting for an out, not looking for an out, but open to see if there was any signal, any red flags, anything that would let me know, like, you do not need to marry this person. Now, Unfiltered, was it perfect? No marriage is perfect. Marriage is work. Marriage is constant, everyday giving, and it's work.
Marriage is selfless. People
It's
get married
selfless.
thinking they're gonna obtain this, but you get married, it's a selfless act.
It's a selfless
where
act.
You give more than you receive.
Get. And one thing that I feel kind of bothers me when people say, oh, I met so-and-so and they complete me. Like, you may hear me saying this often. Nobody should complete you. You're complete.
Absolutely.
When I met John, I said, I'm complete. You're just frosting on this cake. But this cake is baked and done.
And it's part of you knowing your worth.
Yes.
Exactly. Dating, you can't date as a quote unquote incomplete person, because then you're going to look for people to fill you up in certain areas. So you really need to spend time knowing who you are as a person, being whole, healed, and everything else.
And you got to be honest with yourself.
So
it takes you being honest with yourself.
Yes.
Okay. It takes you being honest with yourself, and there's nothing wrong with having wants, your wants, needs or desires or whatever the case may be. But like I said, I'm gonna go back to God. He knows what's best for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And even like Suzanne said, was it, when she met, John, we love John. Anyway, so shout out to John. Anyway, so
John's great.
when she met John, was it perfect? Was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But guess what? God knew. Okay. So
where it would go,
where it would go.
And I didn't see it. I didn't understand it.
And just look at the growth and development that you guys have experienced. And this is going to be another tip that I would have. It's like, when you have these experiences, always find the takeaway. I'm talking about the positive takeaways, because you've learned something. You either learned something about what it is you want, what you don't want, what you can tolerate, what's a deal breaker,
And
deal breakers are big
that's
thing for me.
dating. That's dating.
That's what you do when you're dating. You're discovering
You're
these
discovering
things.
what you like and what you don't like, and what things you might need to improve on before you decide to get married. Because it's only going to fester once you get married. It's
like baggage, like they say. Like, you don't want to bring your baggage, and we all have baggage. Baggage is going to be brought on anyhow. So we have baggage, and then they have baggage. But to me, find someone that has dealt and is continually dealing with this baggage. If they say, oh, you complete me, run. You don't want any, that puts so much pressure on you.
Right.
Like, imagine if this person sees you as their sole source of happiness. Oh my gosh, the pressure.
That
I
is
couldn't
pressure.
handle it. And nobody should be my sole source
No,
of
God
happiness.
is my source.
Yeah.
And anybody
God
else
is our source. And that's why, like, I can come and go on for the weekend. I can travel on my own. I can, go visit my grandbaby. Even my mother made a comment
That's
like, you
good.
shouldn't leave your husband behind so much. He's fine.
And I'm glad I'm in a relationship like that now because I prayed about it. And I feel like I really have the right partner.
Yeah.
I am myself completely.
Yes.
My
That's
silly,
important.
crazy self. We laugh and giggle
Yes.
all the time. And I'm authentically myself, which I was never in my other relationships.
Oh,
Wow.
Never. I was always trying to be somebody else.
You have to be authentic.
And I'm my authentic self, and he accepts it, and I accept him, and we just have. This is one of my best relationships I've ever been in.
So I think the takeaway is, what's our takeaway? Our takeaway is
The tips that we shared.
That we shared, and go out there, online date, have fun, but be careful. And if you're looking for something short and just getting hooked up or whatever,
Pleasurable.
that's a whole different. But our conversation is about if you're looking for longevity in a relationship that will last.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's.
And the guy from Paris, I just want to finish with this. We dated for a while. I really liked him.
Yeah.
I really liked him. But we lived in different states.
Aww.
He had a lot of stuff going on in his life. I had a lot of stuff. I'm raising kids. He's raising his kids. He's divorced. I'm divorced. It just wasn't the right timing.
Yeah.
But
imagine
he's
how
a great
romantic
guy.
though if somebody will say, "Hey, let's meet in Paris." Like,
Yeah,
that's
that
pretty
was.
cool.
Yes, I feel like I was on a cloud.
I bet. That's pretty cool though,
So-
and brave actually.
I know, and she see, and
But
because she was open.
that's what reminded me. You said exchanging information. We both did that. He gave me his information, his daughter, his contact. I gave it to we just exchanged. I gave it to my mom.
Yes.
And everybody in my family knew where I was, knew my flight when it landed,
Good.
and all those things, you know,
Yeah.
because I still didn't know him,
Yeah.
but I knew people who knew him.
Yeah.
But still.
One thing I did before John and I get married, I guess another tip is I was 40, as I mentioned. I don't need this type of drama that I'm going to really mention here. We checked our credit reports. I said, we're going to pull our credit reports.
Oh wow, I've never done that, but that's a good
We
tip.
pulled our credit reports and we had tests done. I said, I'm sorry, I'm 40 and I know that you're whatever, and
That's not
you've
a
been out
bad
there.
idea.
We did. There was medical and there was financial.
That's what
Health.
they did in the old school days. You remember the blood
Yeah.
tests they used to give you?
We went because
In like my grandparents' days.
yeah, that's what we did.
You have to get a blood
Because
test.
and people are going, that's what for me it was important at that time. And would I do it again? I think I actually would.
Yeah,
Because we wanted, I want to have I had a house then, but if I want to grow financially with this person, then I need to know where you stand. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be stable. Like I didn't want to, are we not going to be able to pay our light bill and things
finances
like that?
are
Finances
a big one.
Finances are the number one reasons couples
Yes,
divorce
Yeah.
in
and
the
I
United
would
States.
say that in our relationship, that's the healthiest part. But we talked about it. We sat down and talked about it. And then the other stuff, the testing, I'm sorry. I don't want to get anything. It was,
I shared something on Facebook, values. People don't talk about values. And that's important before you get into a relationship. What are your values?
Yes.
What type of parent would you be?
Yes. In
You know,
scenarios. Okay.
not-
what's
if this-
important to you?
Yeah.
If this and this happened, how would you react? Or what would you do?
What's important to you? Do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Do you serve God? That kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and that should not be those type of questions really on the first date. You know, the first date should be kind of, just like,
Why not?
whether, I'm just saying,
Well,
but you might ask those questions even before you have the first
yes,
That's
I was going to
true.
say
Absolutely.
I did ask those questions before we went on a
Okay,
first date
okay.
because if we don't want to be unequally yoked, and if you're not the same as me when it comes to my faith, We're
And
done.
my
I'm not
first
dating
date
you.
with
Nice
my-
to meet you. Have
Yeah.
have fun, and
Mhm.
we're done.
My first date with my new partner, it was church. We went to church on our first date.
Oh, I love that.
We went to a New Year's Eve service.
I love that.
Yeah, and I want to share this too. Everybody is not for you, and you are not for everybody. Okay,
It's
and there's
true.
nothing wrong with that.
It's
You know what I
okay.
mean? But just try to discern that as soon as you can.
Early.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it's a time waster.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I was saying. I don't want to
And
waste
next
my
thing
time.
next thing you know, a year done went by, 5 years done went by, 10 years done went by, and then it's a time waster. So you got to have those conversations.
Absolutely.
And I did tell John, like, I'm not out here to date for years. If this is not what you're looking for, then it was really nice meeting you. You're a nice guy, but I'm not doing this. We got married within 6 months.
That's how you were
I'm not
40,
waiting.
so that makes sense. You
Yeah.
were 40, so you knew exactly what you needed. For me, my mom is a good discerner of character. I sent Ralph to my mom. I introduced him to my family early so they can see what I probably couldn't see, and
Right.
and she said he's nice.
Nice.
She looked at him and she side-eyed him like, okay. She's like, he's country. But
There's
he's
nothing
fine.
wrong with country. Country is good.
Country's fine. So
Country's fine. So this was
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
chat. I really enjoyed
absolutely.
this
Had a
chat.
good time.
This was good.
Hopefully
This
it
was
was
good.
helpful to you guys out there.
Yes, maybe we can, maybe we give you some ideas, at least things to think about and consider as you online date and you're looking for the one, or maybe you're just dating for fun. I
Or
don't
just
know.
dating period.
Dating-
you never know
dating.
where
Dating,
you're
it's
going to meet
okay.
where you're going to meet somebody. I know that my hairstylist told me the other day that one of her friends was at the gas station and she was minding her business and she was pumping gas, and then this gentleman just started talking to her, and then next thing you know, they got together and they're married today.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
a beautiful
stories like
thing.
that.
So, but what does that go back to my word? Being open.
Being
You gotta be
open.
open. And
You have
I,
to be
I'm always
flexible.
open.
Open and cautious, but don't let your fear. But see, that goes to talking to the Lord. That don't let fears, okay, or past relationships, hurts, traumas, whatever, because you can block your own blessings.
Absolutely.
You really
Don't
can.
let it.
That one person.
And also
could be the
shame.
one.
Like, don't let society shame you into making you feel you don't deserve love because
Right.
of something you've been
Yeah.
through. I've always been like, just like I can get a job, I can get a good relationship.
Yes.
I've always had that mindset, and I don't blame anyone for it's my decision. I chose the men that I married.
Right.
So I'm like, I can choose again, but I can choose better
Yeah.
We
the
can
next
choose
time.
better. And that's the goal. Is that, and it's a little bit of a gamble. However, you have some inside information that you can look at and sort out and see if this gamble is really worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is great.
Right.
Well, we'll catch you
Thank
next time, and thank you for listening.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.